Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Jhammaster J with another review. This is a Drake Appreciation Day review. And before I go on, I want to stress out that I am finished with the semester of school, so I'll definitely have more time to do more reviews and more album reviews on my IG post. With that being said, let's get into Drake's album, Nothing Was the Same. Now, as I said on my Take Care review, Drake hinted on The Ride, the last track on the album, where he said his junior and senior might get meaner. Will only get meaner, actually. He guaranteed, he assured you that they will only get meaner. And so far, I thought his junior, Nothing Was the Same, was a good album. It did what it was expected to do. You know, I enjoyed some of the content on there. That's here and there. But the real question is, this highly anticipated fourth album, Views, or formerly known as Views from the Six, pushed back and everything. The promotion for it was pretty big. You had Summer 16, which wasn't on the album, but dope track. You had Pop Style, a track that has Kanye and Jay-Z on there, that a lot of people kind of had their words for. Mainly because Jay-Z only had a couple of lines on there. And Kanye had his verse that was pretty dope. But a lot of people were stuck on that Channing Tatum line. A lot of people were stuck on that. But you know, what are you going to do? So that song was lukewarm. Controller was the one that got a lot of people's attention. That was the one with Popcorn on there. And One Dance. Hotline Bling was already released, but this was released back in 2015. So that was the first single that people loved. But with that being said, you know, the whole rumors of drum style being taken for this track, you know, I mean, they surfaced pretty well. But with that being said, just need to come out and say how I feel about this album since it was released on August and April. Very simple. While I do like the album, there are some things that I have to criticize. And let's get into it, shall we? The first track, in my opinion, opens off weak. It's a sad singing ballad of how, you know, all of his friends, or let's be friends, are going away from him or changing and all that nonsense. But then we get into 9. A nice, you know, techno track, which had a nice booming beat to it. I actually liked it. Some people were stuck on the whole turn the 6 upside down line. Turn the 9 upside down. I didn't really care too much for it. I actually liked it. Liked the way the beat was. You With Me is probably one of my favorites, with the nice DMX, you know, homage with the beat and the hook. Pretty dope. I liked it. I liked the theme where Drake's talking about the girl, blah blah blah. Feel No Way seems a little more pop and more, you know, sing-songy. Then you have Hype, a crazy track where Drake is doing a lot of brag raps, but he does it with such confidence, and it's so fast-paced. That Jules Santana line pretty much caught me. Then you have more of a slower vibe, Western Road flows, where Drake is more lyrical in a sense, less hype. But then you have tracks like Redemption, which I really was not feeling at all. It was blah. But then you have With You, which was okay, a nice party song with Party Next Door. Then you have Faithful, where it's a lot more slow and bassy. And you have a track, so on, Still Here, which actually that track I like was nice. And so you'll get a lot more electro. You get pop, you get electro like Still Here, 9, and I believe Hype. Then you'll get a couple of dancehall like Controller and One Dance, even though that's more of an African beat. You get the point. Too Good, With You. Then you get a little bit of more of the introspective songs. Hotline Bling is obviously the cha-cha inspired song that people like, the bonus track that people got into, which I liked. And Views ends the album off. Well, Hotline Bling's the bonus, but View ends it with a nice 5-minute bar fest of Drake. Not, the greatest lyrical bars, but how he says it is what I enjoy, and the beat. I've enjoyed both Views and Fire and Desire, basically because of those R&B samples. Mainly Views, the intro to Mary J. Blige. No, 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 no. Where, Drake just starts spitting. But I would say the production is nice. It has the sound is consistent. But the only issue that I have with this album is a major issue, is the fact that this album is too long. Too many filler tracks. And I think at a point, while I can enjoy it, if you're going to have an hour and 20 minutes worth of this, it's okay. We're kind of okay without it. I believe Drake is saying the same thing. Love, brag raps, energy, introspection. But you put it to an hour and 20 minutes, it just sounds the same old thing. And some of these tracks sound like they were recorded a long time ago. Some of them sound recent. Some of them sound in the middle. At this point, it seems to lose cohesion in a way. And while that is nice to have, people say, oh yeah, I like this, cohesion's a big part. And I think that's where this album majorly lacks. And that's been my big problem with this album. I couldn't really call it my favorite at all. I was like, I like this, but why can't this be my favorite? And now I know why. At least with Take Care, that was a pretty long album too. But with that one, it targets a lot more than just relationship. It's more on introspection, depth, brag raps. People call it simp ballads. Drake talks about hanging out with the crew, just everything. With this album, it's just the same thing. You're evil, you're that. Child's Play is the only thing that was actually different. And people criticized that song because, Drake was known for being a simp and how these girls treat him wrong. But in this song, it shows that Drake is like, oh, if you act like that, I'm going to send you back to the hood. Yeah, it's fucked up. But at least it's different. I'll tell all y'all that. It's different. It's different from anything I've heard. And while we're at it, let's get right back to Faithful. Drake, out of all the posthumous Pimp C verses, you chose that one. The one where he says he trusts no one but Bun B. Bun B, I don't know how you co-signed Drake to have that on his album, but clearly you make something so awkward as that. And it's not the fact that he said it, it's the fact that it's so out of place. The feature was so out of place. Future's verse was not really that well. They took Jay-Z's verse out there and Kanye because of Tidal and Apple and that BS. But it's just weird that some of the features were pretty inconsistent. Party Next Door was the only verse that I've heard that actually sounded to go well together. But that's just my thoughts on this whole thing. I mean, like I said, the pros were the production was good and Drake seemed to carry the beat, but they just sound samey, over, blah, blah, blah. And eventually, I just tend to pass on it, in my opinion. But I'll give Drake this. He was able to go 4 million. 4 million copies, man. Quadruple platinum. He did something right. 13 consecutive weeks. The album got an American Music Award. So, good, congrats to Drake. But overall, this album, well, I won't necessarily call this my least favorite album. Definitely an album that was not worth the hype that it was given. Hate to say it. That being said, I'm actually torn. So I was torn because I wrote this, but then I decided to change it. So what I'm going to do is, for the rating of this album, I will split it. This album gets a 5 and a 6 out of 10. Or it gets between a 5 and a 6 out of 10. There's no actual number except that was how I'm leaning towards. I was initially going to give this a straight 5, but then I realized I actually did like listening to this. I found it listenable, but I could not give it higher than a 6. I couldn't give it that much of a 6. So it's between a 5 and a 6. If you Drake haters believe it's 5 or lower, I'm not arguing with you, but that's how I feel. With that being said, what do you think about this album? Jhammaster J, signing off. Crotch grab.